Hello everyone, welcome to today's speed build. Today I decided that I wanted to build an industrial cabin starter. So what I mean by that is, as you'll see later, the outside, the most cabin-esque wallpaper that I had access to do the outside of the house with was the metal from Eco Lifestyle. So I decided to, combine the two aesthetics. What you see right now is me really struggling with the stairs configuration. I love the fact that the stairs can turn in half and bend and go this way and that way, but it was working against me with this build. I was trying my best, but not being super successful. Here we go, I finally got it all settled here. I was trying to decide if I wanted a small or a large upstairs. I eventually decided on a small upstairs, that way you could have a backyard garden, kind of like a balcony. And you'll see here that the layout on the front is a little bit strange. I do change it, but for whatever reason, I decided it would be a good idea to have a massive gap between the second floor and the top of the fireplace. Don't worry, I resolve that later. I wanted it to be able to be a tiny house, regardless of if the person has the pack or not, tiny living. I mainly just use base game and eco lifestyle. I think later I do use to debug nifty knitting rugs, but if you wanted to download this off the gallery, it would be no trouble to just swap in a different rug. So in terms of life updates, I do have some exciting news. I just finished applying to graduate schools. I graduated from undergrad in December. So waiting to hear back about those, which is really exciting. For now, I'm just living at home and working. Oh yeah, I just put in a fireplace because, like I was trying to combine the industrial and the cabin vibes, which I'm not so sure how well I succeeded, but I certainly tried my best. But yeah, I'm hoping to become a registered dietitian at the end of all of this. So I'm hoping to get my master's degree in something related to public health or other nutrition. And at the end of all of this, hopefully I'll be able to take my board exam and be a dietitian, which I think would be really fun. So I managed to scoot the dining room table underneath the stairs here. And I did play test it, so it does work, although with those two chairs that are in the back, kind of closer to the stairs, your sim can get stuck in the one on the right, because it'll stand up and it'll try to walk around the one to the left, and it'll say no. So you can just ask them to sit in the next chair and then tell them they can get up and they can get out just fine. Or if you download it, you can always just scoot it further away from the wall, but I wanted to make sure there was enough clearance between the dining room table and the couch. So it's very much a modest living room, and I was trying to have this be a starter, and I think I succeeded. So not the most, industrial cabin furniture in the world, but I think it looks nice. It's a lot of fun having graduated with a nutrition degree because everybody has a lot of opinions. You know how it is. Everybody eats, so everybody has an opinion on food, whether it's this diet is amazing or the same diet is terrible or so on and so forth. There are a lot of opinions in the nutrition field, and everybody wants to make their thoughts known. So I made sure to get the necessary trash cans in order to make the build work. Now I'm trying to fit a bed onto the upstairs. The upstairs layout changes drastically by the end of this build, but for now, I Hope that your Sims are good at using the scoot function, which is very much always hit or miss. So you'll see right here is before I remembered that I wanted to have that rooftop deck, so I completely blocked it off with a dresser. Don't worry, that does get moved. We're gonna add some windows. I cut out putting together the bathroom from the build because it was getting to be really long. But it really is just a standard bathroom. I have a tub shower combo, so if you wanted to move a sim in that has a toddler, you'd be able to give them a bath. And here is about when I remember. Ah, yes, rooftop deck. And I tried to do the cheat to make it not actually a room, and it didn't work. And I don't know why it didn't work. But I was still within the limits of being a tiny home, so I didn't really care. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background. He is excited whenever he hears much of anything. So in order to make the chimney look a little bit more seamless, I add that little roof piece to kind of like, connect the wider part from the smaller part. And I always think it looks really nice. There are a lot of houses in my neighborhood that look just like that. And that's how their chimneys are put together, which is nice. You can see right about now is when I realized that my layout was very stupid. So I did a cut there, and you see now I have this little bump out, which is the perfect size for a dresser. So that's what I'm going to put there. There's plenty of room throughout the upstairs. Like I said, I did play test this, so your Sims can get in on either side of the bed, and they can still make it out that door there. To adjust the windows to make sure that they were over the roof, and then I started roofing the rest of the house. Roofing houses is not my strong suit. It always takes me a really long time. I always have to play with all of the different roof pieces, and it never quite turns out how I want it to, which I suppose that's just something I'm going to have to learn. The little roof section that is on the chimney I roofed with a gravel is what I decided on because I wanted it to at least sort of match the stone that I was going to wrap the fireplace with. I wanted it to blend in and look natural, not like, hello, I'm a roof piece sticking out. Added a couple more windows to the upstairs. And I had to make the chimney a little bit taller because it was too short in comparison to the roof. It didn't make it clear that it was a chimney. I do eventually go back and delete some of the walls to turn them into fake rooms, so that way it's not counting against the total number of tiles. Sorry, had a brain fart there. And here's where the metal comes into play. I thought it looked nice and it looked cabin-esque from far away, but it does have that industrial footprint, so I imagine that will impact the neighborhood. Obviously, I built this in the eco-lifestyle world. Here's where I go and try and make it a fake room here. I'm not 100% sure that I was successful. It took me a long time to figure out what kind of tile I wanted to use in the kitchen because I didn't want to take up that entire wall along the back, and there wasn't anything that matched the wallpaper that I used good enough. So I eventually just decided to only have it on the back wall. But I really like the tile that I chose. I think it's really nice, and it just peeks above the counter enough to be a nice backsplash. And there is a thermometer in the kitchen. Not a thermometer. There is a smoke detector in the kitchen, have no fear. I did not include a thermostat, so you'll have to add that if you have seasons. And this house does indeed have a TV. It does not have a desk or a computer, but it does have a TV. So, you can still get your Sims fun neat up. At one point, I thought I was going to put a coffee table into the living room, and then I remembered that there's a fireplace right there. So have no fear, it's only slightly a fire hazard, as much as the fireplaces are always fire hazards in The Sims. My dog is sitting beside me, and he just let out a very heavy sigh. So you can tell his life is very hard. I don't know what everybody's pets are going to do once the pandemic finally ends. They're all going to go through so much separation anxiety. My dogs can't even handle it when I go to the grocery store. It took me a while to figure out what kind of flooring I wanted to use. I eventually decided on this eco lifestyle flooring. I really like that it is more textured and it has some variation in color. I think it's really pretty. And now for the rooftop deck. I guess it's more balcony. Words are failing me today. So I decided to just keep the concrete outside to save on cost, but also I just thought it looked more natural, and I put some gardening tools and things like that outside. Since this is a tiny house and, plants grow faster and your skills get up faster, having this back here would be really useful for your Sims. You could pretty easily get up the gardening skill and make a lot of money that way. Made sure to add a mailbox, of course. All the necessities. And I was going to do a paved front walkway, but that was too expensive. So I just did it with terrain paint, which I love. That is free. It's an amazing thing about The Sims, the fact that that's free. And then I started on the fun that is landscaping. It took me forever, at least half hour, 45 minutes to landscape this house. I did it all with debug, so that way it was free. But it took me a very long time. I cut out most of it. So you'll see it's just popping in and out to show you some of what I did, some of the finishing touches. It ends up looking very nice if I do say so myself, although I suppose I should think that. I did add on a back porch. There's nothing in the backyard, because like I said, I was trying to save on costs. But you do have that, rooftop deck, balcony, whatever it is, garden. So there's still stuff to do outside, but you could very easily add some more to the backyard. Had to make sure things look nice from the front, so that way people are impressed on the gallery. And when I was in debug, I added some clutter around the house. So you'll see there's a teapot in the kitchen, and there's some debug makeup on the dresser. And then I added these rugs as some final finishing touches. And I finally added a window to this wall, which is driving me a little bit nuts that they're not quite the same. But then there we are. I'm Muse539 on the gallery if you want to download it, and hope you all have a very wonderful day.